Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first review for the Punisher television series, which just released today on Netflix. This is for the premiere episode, episode 1. It's called 3 a.m. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen the first episode of The Punisher yet, you'll probably want to watch it before you watch this review. So, the first season for The Punisher is 13 episodes. It just hit today on Netflix, which is pretty exciting. Personally, I've been waiting for this one after Stranger Things. This was kind of the next, series that I was most anticipated for this year for Netflix. And, it's always fun how they drop, the whole season of episodes on you. So, if you got time this weekend and you want to marathon it, if you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of maybe Daredevil on Netflix, or Jon Bernthal, of course, who played Shane in The Walking Dead, as you guys all know at this point, is really cool. So if you guys saw my review for the trailer, I did do a review for the trailer of the series. There was some Metallica in there, and it was just, man, it was a really, really cool trailer. Shoot on sight, my pleasure. It's really cool, man. So, Punisher, I always like Punisher because of what he is, of what he does. Not taking half measures, 100% just a vigilante, killing just everybody who he deems deserves some punishment. So it's a kind of a brutal character. Frank Castle's always kind of been a brutal character, even in the comics back, in the days, I want to say, where that was kind of something that was stretching a bit, where you have, I suppose, an anti-hero or, a character like that just going around just killing everybody. So it was pretty cool. So it's a fun character. So I was intrigued about this concept because, of course, you got one of my favorite actors playing, a legendary Marvel character for sure. And, it's going to be big. If you saw his role in Daredevil as Punisher, I thought it was some of the best stuff in all of Daredevil. The different fight sequences they had and just everything they did with that. I thought that he was super badass in Daredevil. And so I was pretty excited for this one. So the first episode, okay, it's hard to judge just based on the first episode when it's a Netflix series and they drop the whole season on you at once. Because really it's like, okay, you kind of have to watch all 13 before you can really judge it too much. It's hard to judge just by the first episode because we just, you have to see it all the way through. And also, it makes me wonder too with Netflix series, they go in knowing that they're going to drop the whole season on you at once. So it's not really the same as when you have a team or a production crew that goes through and is going to set out to do an entire season, but it's sequential. It's episode to episode to episode, 1 week after another. So, in those type of series on a regular channel or on a regular network, in the premiere, they definitely are going to want to get you hooked. So a lot of times you'll have a big premiere for just about any show. So you can judge the whole season or a lot of it based on the premiere because they hit you with something big at the beginning and they, that's going to have them, want you to come back the next week. So, you watch the first episode, the next week you come back, watch the second one. So the premiere episode of any season is very important because they want to get the viewers hooked. They want to give the viewers something to, make them want to watch the show again, especially for a pilot for a new series. And so after you see that, they're gonna want to do it in such a way, design it in such a way where you have a big episode for the premiere and people really dig it, come back for the second episode the next week, and maybe it's not you kind of more regular episode. This one for me for Punisher, it felt really just like a regular episode. It didn't really feel like a big premiere to me, which is what you would usually want for a first episode for a new show. You'd usually want to come at it with something, crazy, something big. If you're going to do Punisher, some huge action sequences or something like that. And, they have some in this episode. You get kind of a sniper shot to start it off with, which is really cool. I got to be honest with you. The Punisher takes, I think it's in the trailer, you can see, he takes a sniper shot from really far away, and there's even lag time between when it hits. So I thought that was well done, right? Where because a lot of times in shows and movies, they forget about that, right? They pull the trigger and then the person's just dead instantly. But in this one, very good care with the action where he takes a shot and then there's the lead time between when the bullet leaves and you hear the sound and when it actually hits because of how far away he is. So that was pretty cool. And there is some pretty cool scenes at the end where you get to see him kind of smash some dudes with a hammer, and also take out this small mob, boss, building where he just kind of goes through, shuts the lights off, and just kills everybody. So the action sequences are awesome when you get them. Throughout the episode, also you get kind of the splintering of his memories as they're coming through. So you get to see him. He's pretty much where we see Frank in this episode in the premiere is he's a construction worker. He's working on looks like demolishing some kind of building, old skyscraper or something like that. So he's using the sledge, and he's banging out the wall, and some of the guys there are getting mad at him because he's working so hard that he's working like all the time. And I really liked how they kind of mixed in his family in there too, to where, and again we saw a little bit of this in the trailer, to where like he's there but he's not there. Here's not here, right? He's there in body, he's sledging, but in mind he's with his family. He's having these visions of what it was before. And, definitely you can feel for the character in that. And I think a lot of us at this point know Punisher's story, right? It's a pretty, he's one of the bigger Marvel characters. He might not be like right up there with maybe Wolverine or Captain America, but he's one of the bigger kind of Marvel Knights type of characters, which is the way I think of him. So I did like how they kind of mixed in the family scenes, and you get to see that, and you get to feel for him. They do them for first-person view, too, which is pretty cool because it makes you feel like you're seeing it from his perspective there, and it's, you're in that, you're him, you're there, and you're seeing his family, and, obviously how close he was to his family and how much that's impacted him that they've been killed. So it kind of goes without saying, I think Jon Bernthal is fantastic as Frank Castle, as the Punisher. He's amazing, it's like the perfect casting choice. You probably could not pick anybody else, at least, for a lot of us fans of The Walking Dead and fans of Jon Bernthal. I mean, I can't think of anybody that would be better at playing the Punisher than him. He's probably the best person you could pretty much pick. Anybody else you pick would most likely be on par or worse. I think he's found a good voice for the Punisher. He's kind of got a half Christian Bale Batman voice, like it's halfway, so it's not so bad. Where's the trigger? It's not that bad, but it's kind of like a raspy. It's good. I like it. It fits with what you would want him to kind of sound like and be like after what's happened to his family and everything, and him just not caring anymore whether he lives or dies and just going out and punishing, right? So it's what it is. So aside from the action sequences, they're kind of sparing in the premiere. I would have liked to see more. You guys know I love my action. So for something like The Punisher, I felt like in the premiere, again, it's a little bit different for a Netflix series because you don't have to wait till the next week. You can just watch the next episode right after you're done this one. So you can go straight through and marathon, right? So it's not exactly the same, but as a big premiere for a new show on a weekly delivery system, but it didn't have as much as I thought you probably would want to have for a premiere. So outside of so as far as the good goes for me, Jon Bernthal is fantastic as the Punisher. I love to see him as a Punisher. Definitely going to watch some more of these episodes just to see his performance as the Punisher and to get to see some more for what they're doing with the character. To get to see maybe more serious villain kind of come in. Looks like Jigsaw probably because he's like Punisher's. Arch nemesis, so to speak, from the comics, so that's good. And to get to see Daniel Lieberman and some of these other characters, supporting cast around the Punisher. So that's everything so far that I mentioned. I did really like in the episode. Thought it was really good. The only things about the episode that for me were like, I don't know if I care so much. Like with regards to the construction crew characters, I like Donnie, of course. The other guys were okay villains, and you see kind of what happens with them. Donnie, so they recruit Donnie, who works on the construction site and is nice to Frank, and pretty much, they recruit him for a crime. They commit the crime, they rip off the mob bosses, and then his wallet falls out when they're doing so the mob bosses see his name. So as a result, it kind of felt like, I don't know, it was okay, I guess. So then afterwards, when they kind of return to the site, then the guys decide, okay, they have to kill Donnie. They can't leave him alive after them finding out that it was them because of the name and everything. So Frank comes in and saves him. That whole thing. So Donnie was okay. As far as the villains go, they're expendable. They've already been killed off in the series. We're not going to see him again later on. But it's a bit tricky with a premiere because, again, you probably want to have somebody in there, like, you know, Jigsaw or some kind of big villain introduction, like have the main arch nemesis be a big presence in the premiere right away. But again, like I said, because it's Netflix, it's not exactly the same. But that's what you probably would usually want to do. So I felt like, as far as pretty much Frank is great. Everybody outside of him, you know, because it is kind of like, you know, it's the Punisher one-man show. But, you know, I like Curtis. I thought he was okay. But everybody else, the introduction for Daniel Lieberman, I thought was a bit cringy at the end. It's kind of silly. It's like gate recognition and stuff, and it was okay, I guess. But everybody else, you know, Donnie, I just didn't care so much. You know, that was the thing with me. Like that's the feeling that I got. You know, I mean, a lot of them, of course, are going to be your supporting cast and crew, and just kind of like regular, you know, run-of-the-mill everyday people. But I just didn't care. You know, you have Dina Madani, who might be, you know, the FBI or what have you, government person on the case, so to speak. So the one that's going after him and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't care for it a whole lot. The pacing on that stuff, for me, it didn't interest me that much. I didn't really like it that much. So for a premiere of a series, I mean, it's a pretty good start. I don't want to say it's an amazing start or it's incredible. The action sequences feel that way. The action sequences feel like they're you could say they're amazing, they're incredible. But what worries me about the show is the rest of the cast. This is a supporting cast, because I haven't really seen anybody right now where I felt like, you know, this is another intriguing character in addition to the Punisher. You know, I haven't really found, at least in the premiere, and it's just the first episode, so it's hard to rate it just on that. But I just felt like there was something maybe missing from the premiere as far as the other, you know, people involved, as far as the other cast and crew of characters go. So, you know, again, it's a whole season being dropped on you, so it's kind of tricky to judge it just based on the very first episode, right? Because it's just like, you know, okay. And I'm sure, obviously, we'll get more into probably, you know, Jigsaw and some of the other, you know, crew and everybody, you know, pretty soon as we go through the season. You know, I'm sure they're going to bring in a lot of these things I'm kind of asking for in the premiere right away. So is what it is. So in terms of score for the premiere, I'm going to give it an 8. I think that's fair, you know, because I did feel like it was a pretty good premiere, but it wasn't a like knock your socks off amazing, like some of the coolest action sequences ever. There were some pretty good ones, but, you know, and because I felt like the supporting cast just was not all that intriguing to me. It was just kind of like they're there. Yeah, you know, I've seen stuff like this before, run-of-the-mill kind of stuff. You know, do I care? I don't seem to care too much. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because, you know, so many series like that where you have like FBI and stuff like this, and, you know, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it's so like run-of-the-mill at this point. It's just like I can't even remember these characters' names like a week or something. You know, I don't even care at all. So, you know, that'll pretty much be it for my review of the premiere. I enjoyed it. There's definitely, you know, some good to it, and I do feel as well too, though, that there are some things that are lacking. Based on the premiere, I don't think this will, you know, in terms of quality, will be it'll probably be a lot like Daredevil. I'm hoping it'll be maybe even better than Daredevil, because I do like Jon Bernthal's Punisher better than I like Netflix's Daredevil. What's the actor's name who plays him? Whatever. Whoever plays Daredevil. You know, because for me, like, I like Daredevil, but it's not like my favorite show or anything. It's just okay for me. I'm hoping that I like Punisher more after I see the whole season. But so far, that's one of the problems with Daredevil too, is that I like Daredevil, I like that, but a lot of these other characters I just don't care for. So they just don't interest me at all. It's like drone, you know. So anyway, let's wrap it up here. Let me know what you guys thought about the Punisher premiere if you guys got a chance to see it. I might do a review for the entire first season if I get through it in the next week or two. You know, and if it turns out to be really good as it wraps up to episode 13. So I'll let you guys know where I stand with it, and let me know what you guys thought if you got a chance to see it. If you haven't seen it yet, you can sign up for a Netflix trial for free for a month or whatever, and then watch at least the premiere, and, you know, see what you think, see what you think about it. Anyway, that'll be it for this review, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.